Welcome to Laws and DepEd Orders and Memoranda Explained. In this episode, we focus on Strand 1.6 Learner Voice through DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012, also known as the DepEd Child Protection Policy. This landmark issuance ensures that every learner's voice is heard and respected by safeguarding them against abuse, exploitation, discrimination, and bullying. For school heads and teachers, DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012 emphasizes the responsibility to create safe, inclusive, and learner-centered environments where students are empowered to participate meaningfully in school life. The Child Protection Policy is anchored on four key foundations. First, the statement of policy emphasizes that children must be safeguarded from all forms of abuse, neglect, exploitation, discrimination, and bullying, calling on school heads to enforce zero tolerance through prevention, reporting, and response. Second, the constitutional basis ensures every child's right to care, protection, and quality education, reminding leaders to embed safety and respect into school culture. Third, the Convention on the Rights of the Child, or CRC, highlights the global commitment to protect learners from violence while upholding their dignity, requiring discipline practices that are humane and rights-based. Finally, the policy recognizes that abuse can also arise from the difficult realities faced by teachers and staff, which is why leaders must create proactive support systems for both educators and learners. Together, these foundations guide school heads to truly protect all learners. The Child Protection Policy highlights three critical commitments. First, special protection ensures that learners in danger are safeguarded and referred to proper agencies, requiring school heads to activate child protection committees and referral systems, our special shield. Second, participatory rights affirm that children must be heard in shaping policies and decisions, which means school leaders must provide platforms like student councils, consultations, and feedback mechanisms, because learner voice counts. Finally, the principle of zero tolerance demands strict prohibition of abuse, violence, exploitation, and bullying. Leaders must enforce accountability, establish reporting systems, and act swiftly to protect learners, anchored on a zero-abuse policy. The policy defines four major threats to learners. First, child abuse, whether physical, psychological, sexual, neglect, or denial of care, demands strict prevention, reporting, and intervention, summarized as the four types: physical, words, needs, medical. Second, discrimination against children prohibits any bias based on age, gender, disability, religion, or condition, reminding leaders that there must be no bias, all equal. Third, child exploitation, whether sexual or economic, calls on school heads to guard against trafficking and labor, a reminder that exploitation equals sexual plus economic. Finally, violence in schools, whether physical, sexual, or psychological, requires a zero-violence stance and swift action, our no-violence zone. The policy also outlines four important discipline-related provisions. First, bullying or peer abuse includes threats, humiliation, property damage, stalking, and even cyberbullying. School heads must institutionalize anti-bullying programs and reporting systems, because bullying equals threat plus humiliation plus cyber. Second, other acts of abuse by learners remind us that even non-bullying abusive behaviors must be addressed through restorative and disciplinary measures, our signal for peer abuse alert. Third, corporal punishment, any form of physical or degrading discipline, must be strictly prohibited, guiding leaders to build a no-hitting zone. Finally, the principle of positive and nonviolent discipline calls for constructive approaches that uphold dignity and teach lifelong values, summarized as teach, not hurt. Under Section 8, school personnel carry critical responsibilities in child protection. First, they exercise special parental authority while learners are under their care, reminding teachers of their parental role. Second, they must provide support, education, love, and guidance, fostering a culture of care and counsel. Third, they are tasked to protect learners' physical and mental health, ensuring programs and safe spaces that keep health first. Fourth, they must deliver wholesome education, supervising activities and shielding learners from harmful influences. Our call for wholesome ed. Fifth, personnel are expected to represent learners' interests, serving as a true learner advocate. Sixth, they must instill respect and obedience while practicing positive, nonviolent discipline, anchored on respect plus no hurt. Finally, they must carry out lawful duties and fully implement the child protection policy, ensuring CPP compliance across the school. Section 9 outlines the duties of learners in building a safe and respectful school environment. First, they must follow school rules and avoid discrimination, unsafe acts, vandalism, fighting, drugs, or harmful items are a reminder of no harm acts. Second, learners are expected to act with maturity and uphold the rights of others, promoting responsibility and peer leadership, captured in Act with Maturity. Third, they must show respect to all, regardless of differences, embedding inclusivity in every interaction. Respect all. Finally, learners are bound to observe the official code of conduct, which school heads must consistently orient and enforce. Follow the code. Every school must establish a child protection committee, chaired by the school head and joined by teachers, guidance staff, parents, learners, and community partners, captured in the formula CPC equals head plus teachers plus parents plus students plus community. The CPC's functions are equally vital. They must draft and review the school child protection policy every 3 years. Policy every 3. They lead information drives to safeguard learners from abuse, exploitation, violence, discrimination, and bullying. Info plus protect. They also implement a referral and monitoring system for child protection cases, known as the referral net. Finally, they identify students at risk by recognizing signs of harm, ensuring early intervention. Spot the signs. The Child Protection Committee also carries key responsibilities. First, they must refer cases to proper authorities when necessary, ensuring swift action. Refer right away. Second, they assist parents and guardians in accessing expert guidance or counseling. Help parents too. Third, they coordinate with agencies like the PNP Women and Child Desk, the LSWDO, and NGOs, highlighting that CPC connects. Fourth, they monitor the implementation of positive measures and support for children and families. Monitor and support. And finally, they must uphold children's right to be heard in all matters affecting them. Child voice first. In addressing bullying, the policy sets clear procedures. First, all complaints must be reported immediately to the school head. Parents of both the victim and offender are called, and the case is referred to the CPC for counseling, with penalties ranging from reprimand to short suspension, summarized as report, refer, reprimand. For serious cases that result in grave injury or death, these must be escalated under RA 9344, reminding leaders to escalate if severe. Finally, all actions must observe due process. Written notice of complaint, opportunity to respond with parental support, a written decision with reasons, and the right to appeal, captured as the 4 due process steps. Notice, answer, decision, appeal. The policy further strengthens learner protection through 3 provisions. First, non-punitive measures allow schools to use positive discipline instead of punishment, promoting restorative approaches. Discipline, not punish. Second, other acts of violence or abuse, even if not classified as bullying, must still be addressed in line with RA 9344, reminding leaders that all abuse covered. And third, the policy identifies 6 prohibited acts: child abuse, discrimination, exploitation, violence in school, corporal punishment, and analogous acts. School heads must strictly enforce these through proper orientation and monitoring, captured as 6 prohibits: abuse, discrim, exploit, violence, corporal, similar. The policy outlines clear procedures for handling complaints. First, under investigation and reporting, cases must be forwarded within 48 hours, and fact-finding must begin within 72, our 48 to 72 rule. Second, complaints must be sufficient in form. If not, the complainant is guided to correct and refile. Check form first. Third, fact-finding follows DepEd rules, with the LSWDO providing psychosocial support. In grave cases, preventive suspension of up to 90 days may be recommended. Investigate, support, suspend. Finally, respondents have the right to due process, with a motion for reconsideration or appeal to the CSC within 15 days, captured in 15-day appeal. We have just unpacked the key provisions of DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012, the DepEd Child Protection Policy, highlighting its safeguards and the vital role of school heads in ensuring that learner voices are respected and protected. To deepen understanding, let us now move into the practice test. These questions are anchored on PPSSH Strand 1.6, Learner Voice, with a focus on the DepEd Child Protection Policy. This will help you apply the policy principles to real-world school leadership decisions. 1. During the orientation of new teachers, a school head emphasizes that corporal punishment is strictly prohibited under DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012. Which of the following practices is considered corporal punishment? Requiring a learner to write a reflection essay after misbehavior. B. Assigning additional learning tasks to improve performance. C. Publicly humiliating a learner by labeling them lazy in front of classmates. Or D. Asking a learner to apologize in writing to appear they offended. 2. According to DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012, which of the following duties are expected of school personnel under their special parental authority? I. Protect learners' physical and mental health. 2. Provide wholesome materials and supervision of activities. 3. Carry out lawful duties and implement CPP. 4. Enforce corporal punishment when learners misbehave. A. 1, 2, and 3 only. B. 2, 3, and 4 only. C. I and 4 only. Or D. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3. A school head receives a report of peer-to-peer abuse that does not qualify as bullying. Based on DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012, what is the most appropriate response? Document the case but take no action since it is not bullying. B. Address it using restorative and disciplinary measures, guided by Republic Act 9344. C. Immediately suspend the offender for at least 1 week. Or D. Refer the case directly to PNP Women and Child Desk without school intervention. 4. During a Child Protection Committee, CPC, meeting, members debate whether learners should be involved in drafting the revised child protection policy. As the school head, what is the best action aligned with DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012 and PPSSH Strand 1.6, Learner Voice? Exclude learners to avoid confidentiality risks. B. Allow learners to participate only as observers. C. Involve learners meaningfully in consultations and policy feedback mechanisms. Or D. Ask parents to represent learners instead of direct participation. 5. After a severe bullying case resulting in serious injury, the school head is uncertain about next steps. Which action best demonstrates compliance with DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012 and Republic Act 9344, Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act? Handle the case internally within the CPC to avoid external complications. B. Refer the case to proper legal authorities while ensuring psychosocial support for the victim. C. Mediate between parents and close the case with a written agreement. Or D. Impose preventive suspension on the offender and stop further proceedings. 6. In preparation for the School Improvement Plan, SIP, review, the school head wants to integrate child protection into school governance. Which initiative best reflects an extended application of DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2012 and PPSSH Domain 5, Building Connections, launch a one-time anti-bullying poster contest among learners. B. Establish continuous partnerships with LGU, LSWDO, and NGOs for referral and capacity building. C. Delegate child protection matters entirely to the guidance counselor. Or D. Conduct a single seminar on positive discipline for teachers at the start of the year. List of correct answers. Compare this with your own answers. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel for more content on school leadership, DepEd policies, and NASH preparation. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We're here to guide you on your journey toward becoming an empowered and impactful school leader. Let's grow together in leadership, service, and excellence.